What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Your guys, Cody and Derek, back with another one, guys. Well, guys, the Indianapolis Colts through 10 weeks are now officially on their bye for week 11. So we thought, even though it's not technically mid-season, Derek, we did a quarterly-ish season report. It's kind of difficult when there's 17 games. But we kind of did a quarterly report there for the Indianapolis Colts. Now through 10 weeks, we are going to look and grade the Colts here for all their different positions. And we're actually going to split this into two different episodes. We're going to talk first about the offense today. And then in the next episode, we are going to talk about the defense. And we'll throw in the special teams too for that second episode. So looking forward to talking about that. But really quick, guys, a couple things before we do get into that. First off, if you haven't already and you're hanging out with us, if you've been watching this channel for a while, or if you've been watching for us, this is your first time, we would love for you to consider liking and subscribing to our channel. We were looking at a little bit of deeper statistics, Derek, and around 42% of people who watch our content do not subscribe. So if that's you, we'd love if you would consider subscribing to us. Really do appreciate that. And also, this episode is sponsored by FanDuel. Now, Derek, the Indianapolis Colts, as they currently sit at 8-2, right now have very heavy odds to win the AFC South. I don't know about you, man, but right now, with that negative 425, it's looking pretty stinking good that the Indianapolis Colts are going to take care of business, especially considering Duval can't hold on to leads. What are your thoughts, man, on those odds there for the Indianapolis Colts?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how the Colts do on the back half of their schedule. The Jaguars are going to have a little bit lighter of a schedule on the back end than what we are. But as long as the Colts don't epically collapse, then I think there's a fairly good shot that the Indianapolis Colts are going to finish at the top of the AFC South this year.
Yeah, I think it's pretty lock right now, like you said, unless, knock on wood, no repeat of 2021, please. I'm begging you, Colts. So regardless of that, guys, right now the Colts looking pretty good through 10 weeks. So be sure to go check out FanDuel for the betting odds for the AFC South and also for so many other things. Again, shout out to them. All right, Derek, so let's kind of roll with this offense. Let's talk about this Colts offense, which when you look at it overall, man, very good offense for the Colts this year. I mean, it's kind of crazy to compare the 2025 Colts offense to the 2024 Colts offense because it's pretty much in every single category far superior. But when you look at this offense overall, before we kind of get into some of the individual grades and things like that, man, what are your impressions been of this offense?
I mean, I can't even really put it into words when it comes to what the offense has done this year. I mean, again, they've scored 20 points in at least every game this year, which is something that, we haven't seen much from last year. And when you talk about some of the blowouts that they've had this year, I mean, over half of their victories this year have come off of winning by double digits. And, we didn't have that at all last year. I mean, and you matched your win total this year just off of last year alone in 10 games. And partial of that is because your offense has just scored points at a practically historic rate so far through the first 10 weeks. So, I mean, it's pretty crazy to think that how good this offense has been this year. I mean, it's truly insane, and it's been so fun to watch.
Absolutely. And when you look at the stats, Colts, the highest scoring team in the NFL, the most yards in the NFL. They are a top team in terms of passing yards. They rank as 4, and they are the third highest team in terms of rushing yards. So, Derek, the thing that strikes me the most about this Colts offense, you kind of mentioned it, but just the balance this offense has had this year, I think has just truly been unbelievable with how they've been able to run the football. We knew the Colts were going to run the football regardless of who the quarterback was going to be, but also the ability, because of what they've done running the football, to take advantage of that passing the football. It's been pretty incredible to see the Indianapolis Colts do that. And outside of the last 2 weeks, also take care of the football very well as well. So pretty much in every category, Derek, and in points differential as well, the Indianapolis Colts are top 5, top 4 if you count that. Every meaningful category that matters offensively, the Colts are in it.
Yeah, I mean, and you're going to have good numbers when it comes to that. And, we'll talk about the defense in another video, but I mean, you're seeing it all around the league. Great defenses only really get you so far, especially with Houston. Houston's got the number one defense in the National Football League, but that offense hasn't been able to help them out at all. I mean, albeit Denver is 8-2 right now, tied for the same record as us, but I mean, they're hanging on by a thread. Their offense has been unable to do anything since after playing us. And I mean, it has not looked good for them. And, they're mainly beating up on bad teams, so things are not looking great for them from a standpoint of their offense. I mean, you can have great defense, but if your offense doesn't match the points putting up, then it's not going to go well for you in the NFL.
Absolutely. Well, I think the thing could be very valuable for the Colts as they go down this home stretch of the regular season, potentially host a playoff game, is, like I said, the balance, right? There's going to be a time and place where you're going to have to stand and deliver from the pocket. And the Colts and Daniel Jones have shown they have the ability to do so, right? But also there's those games where you need to rely on your running game as well. So the Colts have that perfect balance. But anyway, let's get into some individual grades here, Derek, for this Colts team. I just mentioned Daniel Jones. Let's talk about it, man, because when you look at Daniel Jones overall through 10 games, it's definitely been a very good year for Daniel Jones. I mean, when you look at right now, he leads the NFL in passing yards right now with 2,659 yards. He has 15 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He has a 70 completion percentage, a quarterback rating of 101.6, a QBR of 66.8. And oh, by the way, he also does some stuff in terms of running the football too, Derek. In fact, it's kind of crazy how good Daniel Jones has been when running the football. He already has 5 rushing touchdowns. So if you factor that all in, Daniel Jones has 20 touchdowns in total. So what are your thoughts been on Daniel Jones here through the first 10 weeks of the season, doing things that, when he was named the starter, we didn't necessarily expect him to do, but he has done?
It's kind of funny because, you look at what that one season that the New York Giants went on to go to the playoffs, right? That season right before he got paid, he had 15 passing touchdowns that year altogether. And he has that in 10 games here. I mean, Daniel Jones is definitely going to get more. And then, he had 25 total touchdowns on the year that year anyway. If Daniel Jones even does the absolute bare minimum and only gets 1 a game, he's going to pass that, right? So, Daniel Jones, from a number standpoint and an efficiency standpoint, it's been absolutely, it's been great to watch. Again, the QBR being at around a 67, which is top 10 in the NFL, goes to show you that, he's been making a ton of great throws. And, it shows how committed they are to passing the football when you're number 1 in passing yards. Cody, you have the number 1 running back in the National Football League, the Triple Crown winner at this moment in time in Jonathan Taylor, and yet you are still number 1 in passing yards. It just goes to, and half the time, Cody, we've said it in about 3 or 4 different games this year, Daniel Jones hasn't played in the fourth quarter. So there's been at least 1 full game's worth of quarters that he hasn't played this year. So, you got to think about that on top of those numbers. It's been great to watch Daniel Jones do what he's done. Definitely the ultimate resurgence of a former player that, was tossed out, nobody cared about anymore, had no expectations of, and now all of a sudden is being redeemed as a top level quarterback for the most part. Now, obviously, the interception number and the fumbles number, those turnovers, you got to be better about that. We know over the last few weeks, the Colts have obviously suffered from the turnover bug. Part of that is Daniel Jones's fault. Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen have to get back to the drawing board and have to start being better at ball security and just not throwing some of these really, really unnecessary interceptions. So if Daniel Jones can do that and just not turn the ball over in the back half of this year, I don't really care how many touchdowns he throws for, how many yards he throws for. This offense is going to be okay so long as Daniel Jones isn't turning the ball over.
With that in mind, what grade would you give Daniel Jones through 10 games?
I have to give it an A minus. I mean, because what expectations did you have of Daniel Jones in this season at all? Right? I mean, I never would have expected Daniel Jones to have almost 2,700 yards passing and be top 10 in QBR. I never expected that. And to be top 14 or 15 quarterbacks in the NFL in passing touchdowns. I didn't expect the numbers that Daniel Jones was putting up. I understand recency bias. He hasn't been playing great football over the last few weeks, but through the entirety of the 10 weeks, I mean, he is doing things that I never expected Daniel Jones to do. So I'm giving him an A minus.
That's fair. I was like hovering between a B plus and an A minus, but I think you're right. Even though the last 2 weeks he's turned the ball over a lot, which, like you said, not completely his fault, but it doesn't outweigh what he did the other 8 weeks, right? Where he was taking care of the football. He was, even though the touchdown numbers from a passing standpoint aren't crazy, well, that's because Jonathan Taylor, who we're going to talk about, already has 15 rushing touchdowns. So you say, normally, if you don't have a running back like JT, maybe he gets those numbers up to 17 or 18, right? Or if not more than that. So that's just what it is, right? But near the end zone, that kind of stuff happens. It can kind of skew some of the stats there. But I definitely think an A minus is fair there for Daniel Jones. Overall, I mean, if you're talking about from the expectation, like you said, it's an A plus. But A minus, I think, is fair in total when you're looking at it. Now, moving on, let's just talk about Jonathan Taylor. I mean, I feel like we could talk about this to death, and we have already, and not just us. So many people have talked about Jonathan Taylor and what he has done this year, Derek. And the thing that I think has impressed me the most about Jonathan Taylor is, number one, he's been healthy. And number two, he's been so stinking consistent when you've given him the football. So many games this year, Derek, where Jonathan Taylor just takes over games. I mean, he has 5 games this year. Half the games he's played, he's had 3 touchdowns in, which is crazy when you think about that, right? So Jonathan Taylor is just an absolute stud. I mean, he's just on another level. He's leading the NFL in rushing yards right now by a pretty wide margin. He already has 1,100 yards rushing, 15 rushing touchdowns already. He just broke off the longest rush of the season with an 83-yarder, and that ties actually his career high. Back in 2021, he also had an 83-yarder he ripped off. So he's just having a fantastic performance. And another thing that has impressed me about Jonathan Taylor this year, Derek, outside of he's been a great runner, he's been a complete back this year for the first time in his career where he's in there on third downs, right? He's protecting Daniel Jones. He's catching out of the backfield. I mean, he already has 2 receiving touchdowns. So he has 17 total touchdowns between rushing and receiving. I mean, just talk to me, man. Jonathan Taylor, it's very obvious the Colts were going to run through him, but he has more than delivered.
Yeah, I mean, and I know we love to bring back the 2021 season because that was the last time that Jonathan Taylor looked even remotely close to being this good. And even still, he's averaging a half yard more per carry, Cody, than what he was in 2021. I mean, he's projected to have over 100 yards more rushing this year than he did in 2021 with about the same amount of carries. And he had 18 rushing touchdowns that year. He has 15 already. So, I mean, he's going to blow that number out. Yeah.
You know what's crazy, too? He had a 5 touchdown game against Buffalo. So that's even crazier.
Yeah, so literally about almost 25%, literally 20% of his touchdowns came in one game where it was a blowout against Buffalo. You're right. So it's kind of been more spaced out with Jonathan Taylor this year. I mean, Jonathan Taylor gets an A plus 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 plus. I mean, you just might as well just give him all the pluses. I mean,
give him extra credit.
What you're seeing with Jonathan Taylor this year, I mean, he's gonna, if he stays healthy and he stays on target, he's gonna blow all the records away that he's ever set as an Indianapolis Colt. Could potentially break some NFL records. I mean, he's just a phenomenal player. I mean, you can't even say anything more than that. I mean, he only needs, Cody, less than 700 yards to break his rushing total of 2021 too. So, I mean, that's hard to do. Average 100 rushing yards per game right now, but right now he is averaging over 100 yards per game right now. So, I mean, if he keeps this up, he very well could do it. And what's crazy about it, Cody, is teams are coming into this knowing they have to try to stop Jonathan Taylor. And so far, the only team that has been able to actually do that was the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, in all honesty, too, I mean, the Colts weren't really trying to run the football much in that game. They only ran the ball, I think it was, 14 times in that game.
Yeah.
So Jonathan Taylor wasn't utilized in that game much at all. So, I mean, it's part the Steelers, part Steichen not doing a good enough job to get your best player the football more often. But yeah, I mean, you're right. It's been the consistency level. If you exclude that one game, I mean, he's averaging almost 125 yards per game right now with what he's been able to do. I mean, it's absolutely insane. The consistency level, like you said, it's not been 3 or 4 games of 200 plus yards. It's just been somewhere between 100 and 150 yards per game for most of the games that he's had this year. So, I mean, talk about a guy, if you're going to, every other game, going to get 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, talk about a key to success to winning.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's only had 2 games of 150 plus yards outside of last week against Atlanta. So he's been consistent this year, which is definitely something that you love to see from him. So moving on now, because we obviously know Jonathan Taylor, the highest grade you could give him and then some. He deserves extra credit. But let's move on, Derek, to the wide receiver group for the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, we talked about the Colts having the best passing offense in the NFL statistically wise, and the wide receivers have been a big part of that, Derek. And this wide receiver room definitely had their fair share of injuries so far. Josh Downs has missed a little bit of time. Alec Pierce missed a little bit of time. Like, it's been a little bit of issues early on in the season with some injuries, but moving forward, this wide receiver room, it's so talented, man. It's incredible how talented this wide receiver room is, and that's even without now Adonai Mitchell there in that wide receiver room. I mean, you have 3 receivers that all do different things very well. I mean, Michael Pittman's a possession guy. He's the guy you're going to target usually, a lot. He's going to get the most targets of any Colts player likely, unless there's a number 1 corner like an A.J. Terrell on him. Then you go other places. We know Alec Pierce, he's that deep threat. He leads the NFL in yards per catch this year once again. Josh Downs is your slot guy. And then you have some other guys here. Ashton Doolin stepped in, and he's played well when given opportunity. And when you look at the stats overall, Derek, for this wide receiver room in general, I mean, it's a pretty even spread. There hasn't been like a crazy game. I think outside of the Pittsburgh game, there hasn't been like a ton of receivers going for a lot of yards, honestly, this year, which is kind of interesting. You've kind of spread the ball around pretty well, but Michael Pittman does lead you right now from a wide receiver standpoint with 54 catches for 580 yards. He already tied his career high with receiving touchdowns with 6. You think he's going to eclipse that here in the next 7 games? Maybe he gets to double digits for the first time in his career. I mentioned Josh Downs as well, 36 catches, 316 yards, 3 touchdowns, nothing crazy, but he's definitely your slot guy that moves the chains on 3rd down. He's had a lot of those this year, which has been fantastic stuff there, which is awesome to see. And in fact, Derek, when you look at Josh Downs and his 36 catches, 23 of those have gone for first downs.
Yep.
So if that tells you anything about how effective he is, even though he may not get the volume of some of these other guys, Josh Downs is very effective. And then obviously Alec Pierce, when he's gotten back healthy, he is just a weapon out there, man. It's crazy because he only has 28 catches on the year, but he has almost 600 receiving yards, which is
freaking
wild.
insane.
So,
freaking insane. He's got the fewest receptions of everyone, yet has the most receiving yards on this roster, which is crazy.
He's
or
a
at least in the wide receiving room.
And he's only played in 8 games. So it's like, he is just insane. When you throw him the football, I mean, that's why Daniel Jones was like, double coverage, I don't care. Alec Pierce is going to come down with this. And that's exactly what happened. I know there were some people dogging Daniel Jones, and I'm like, if there's anybody you throw into double coverage and expect him to catch it, it's Alec Pierce. I mean, he just does that all the time.
No doubt. And I mean, again, Josh Downs, 36 catches, 23 of those have gone for first down or more. Michael Pittman also, in his 54 catches, 35 of those is first downs or more. And with Alec Pierce, 28 catches, 24 of them have been for first down or more. So, I mean, it's crazy just how efficient this Colts offense has been in regards to how their catches go. And, for Jonathan Taylor, too, his 30 catches, 11 of those have gone for first downing. They're not trying to get him going down the field. He is exclusively dump off passes. But yet 35 to 36% of the time when he catches the ball too, he's getting a first down. So I think it's one thing that Steichen has maybe gotten a little too comfortable with is against these bad pass defenses. The Colts have been able to move the ball down the field so effectively. And then when you faced a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, who changed how they did their defense and are able to get after the quarterback, and then the Atlanta Falcons, who have good guys in the backfield and also blitz at a very high rate, I think that the play calling got too comfortable with how the Colts were able to do stuff against other teams that were better or that were not as good in that regard. But when you look at that first, you look at just all of this put together, I mean, it just goes to show you just every single one of these wide receivers doing their job. I mean, Michael Pittman, obviously, like you said, he ties his career high in touchdowns in a season. Most likely will eclipse that number at some point. Don't know what happened that Michael Pittman was not utilized against the Falcons for some odd reason. Obviously, Alec Pierce, he's the big play waiting to happen. He does it better than everybody else in the NFL. And obviously, Josh Downs, when he touches the ball, you imagine he's going to get a first down for sure. So, I mean, I give this group an A. Just the only reason I don't give it an A plus is just because when you talk about teams that have an A plus, you just have a guy that takes over the rest of the group. There really isn't that, but you have three legit wide receivers that are all just doing their job in the way that the offense demands it. And that's why I give it an A, because they're all doing their job effectively.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on to the tight end position, a position that was the bane of our existence last year, but has been the absolute opposite this year with rookie Tyler Warren. I mean, Derek, Tyler Warren, crazy stuff, man. He leads the Indianapolis Colts in receiving yards through 10 games, which is nuts.
Insane.
I mean, he has 50 catches for 617 yards, 3 receiving touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. So, Derek, Tyler Warren's been utilized in a lot of different ways, as we expected this year with the Indianapolis Colts. And we see what he does statistically, which is obviously awesome. But the things he does do that you don't count, right, that the stats don't indicate, are invaluable. The way that he blocks down the field, I mean, that's a big reason why Jonathan Taylor's on the pace he is because players like Tyler Warren, they're not afraid to get down and get dirty and go and make a block, right? So Tyler Warren, he is all that is advertised, man. People can talk all they want about other rookie tight ends or whatever. I'm taking Tyler Warren every time because he does it all.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And, it's the same thing with the wide receivers, too. I mean, you got to get wide receivers out there that are willing to block on the outside. I mean, obviously, that one that Jonathan Taylor broke to beat Edge's touchdown record, and that touchdown doesn't happen if AP's not down there running alongside him, right? But
that was incredible, by the way, because AP's on the other side, out of frame, and you just see when JT breaks that, AP's in front of him, leading the way.
Him catch up to him and actually outrun Jonathan Taylor from that spot. And then, because Bates has him out there on the edge. Bates has that angle, but then he's having to try to correct himself because AP is right there just nudging him a little bit. And then by the time he figures out that he can't get the angle, Jonathan Taylor's just busted past him. So, I mean, it is truly incredible. And, I mean, truly incredible what Tyler Warren is doing this year. I mean, it's It's between him and Emeka Egbuka for offensive rookie of the year. I mean, it's incredible, Cody. He leads the team in yards. Who'd have thought that from last season, dude? Who'd have thought that from last season? He has 4 times the amount of production that Kylan Granson had last year. 4 times it. And we're only just past halfway through the season. I mean, so Tyler Warren is on pace, if he keeps this up, to get over 1,000 yards receiving this year. I'm pretty sure they said that would be like he would only be the 5th tight end in the history of the NFL to eclipse 1,000 yards as a rookie. I mean, it's truly incredible what this guy has provided. And like you said, it's not just the ability to catch the football, which he clearly does so well, but like you said, the willingness to just absolutely level people. He leveled James Pierce in that Falcons game. Unfortunately, it only resulted in a 2-yard run for Jonathan Taylor, but he leveled the defensive end on the other side for the Falcons, and he does that all the time. You can utilize him in so many other ways, and it's phenomenal. And Cody, it's kind of funny because we always talk about, what Tyler Warren does, and we neglect the rest of the room. I mean, obviously, from a pass catching perspective, Drew Ogletree has yet to catch a pass this year, Cody. I don't even know if he's been targeted. He might have been targeted once this year. And Mo Alley-Cox, only 8 targets on the year. So it's not, he's getting like maybe 1 target a game at most. But again, that just goes to show you the level that Tyler Warren is at, where you don't need these other tight ends to be out here catching passes. Tyler Warren is the ultimate guy that's going to be out there all the time. But obviously, Mo Alley-Cox and what he brings to the table, and Drew Ogletree, what those two are bringing to the table from a run blocking perspective. Again, we talk about the wide receivers and we talk about what Tyler Warren does, but these two guys, I've already said it, Mo Alley-Cox is one of the best run blocking tight ends in the National Football League. And Drew Ogletree is definitely getting up there as well. And what Drew Ogletree does on special teams as well, getting those snaps there. I mean, again, another group of guys where one guy is just the overwhelming favorite, what he does, and the other two, they just do their job. They go out there, they run block, they make do with what they have. I mean, shout out to Mo Alley-Cox, the 4 receptions that he does have there for 50 yards. So, whenever he touches the football, he's getting some pretty decent yardage in the catches that he does get. So I give this an A+. I mean, again, you got Tyler Warren, who's looking like one of the best tight ends in the National Football League already as a rookie, and just the remainder of the group just run blocks their asses off, and it works for us.
Yep, absolutely. It's nice when you don't have to rely on those guys to be reliable targets out there. You just put them out there to block, and they can do that because they're all big body guys, which works well for you. So, yeah, love that, man. Now, the offensive line, let's kind of the final thing here as we wrap up our look at the offense and giving grades. So, when you look at this offensive line, Derek, I mean, through the first 8 weeks, really, really phenomenal stuff. Last 2 weeks have been a little bit rough in terms of pass pro. Although in, obviously the Berlin game, it's not all the offensive line. I really felt like Pittsburgh was a lot more of the offensive line, whereas, the game against the Falcons, it was the offensive line, but it was also some other factors as well. But they did open up the running lanes for Jonathan Taylor, and I felt like they protected Daniel Jones a little bit better as the game went on. So what were your thoughts, Ben, of the offensive line so far through 10 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of been very similar to Daniel Jones, right? And how that has gone down, right? Through the first 8 weeks, I think only gave up like 8 or 9 sacks through the first 9 weeks or 8 weeks, which, again, that's very, very good. And then obviously the last 2 weeks, you've given up 12 sacks, and it's resulted in 4 fumbles, if I'm not mistaken. So 4 fumbles from Daniel Jones, and obviously it's led to Daniel Jones throwing about 4 different interceptions in the last 2 weeks. So the last 2 weeks, it's been absolutely abysmal But I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt that obviously it's not entirely on them. I think also that scheme and play calling has something to do with it as well. And I think a lot of people that watch the film too would agree with me that, just things, the Colts just not are in sync the way that they were at the start of the year. But nevertheless, I mean, again, in this last game against the Falcons, you were able to give Jonathan Taylor the ability to run the ball for 250 yards in this game. I mean, that doesn't happen without the offensive line giving him at least some kind of chance to break some of those runs. So again, I'll give it an A minus. It's been not a great ride the last few weeks, but the Colts have been able to hang on. And obviously through those first 8 weeks, they were up there with the Broncos as being the best offensive line in football. So hope that they will do the same thing that the Colts need to do with Daniel Jones, which is just, again, get back to the basics. You got to be better with your communication. You just got to keep doing what it is that you need to do to be better, because obviously you're going to be facing some good defensive fronts on the back end of this year. So hopefully they can get back to what they were doing at the start of the year and not giving up as many sacks as they are right now.
Yeah. So in total, Derek, as we kind of weigh this offense right now, what would you in total, taking all the grades into account, give this offense through 10 weeks? What letter grade?
I'm going to give it an A. I mean, it's just, there's really not much more to really say about it. Because, I mean, again, you've got an offense that prior to week 9 was on a historic level of efficiency, Cody. I mean, we were talking about it, how even the 07 Patriots, who went undefeated that year and went to the Super Bowl, did not have the efficiency level of points per drive that this Colts offense did through the first 8 weeks. I mean, it was insane. Obviously, these last few weeks, they've dumbed it down a little bit. We need to be a little better at not turning the ball over, obviously. But, I mean, this offense, we said it in the beginning of the year, Cody. If you could get average to above average quarterback play, this offense could be really good. But not only have you gotten above average quarterback play, for the most part, you've gotten good to sometimes great quarterback play from Daniel Jones this year. And you have seen what this offense has been able to do from an efficiency standpoint when the team is not turning the ball over. And even when they are turning the ball over, you turn the ball over 3 times against the Atlanta Falcons and you still scored 31 points. So, again, if the Indianapolis Colts can just not turn the ball over, this offense is the most efficient offense in the National Football League, and that deserves an A, in my opinion.
All right, awesome. Well, guys, let us know your thoughts on these letter grades we gave the Colts offense. What letter grade would you give the Colts offense through 10 weeks? Let us know all those things in the comments down below. Like we said at the top of this video, if you would do us a huge favor, smash that like button, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, as roughly 42% of people who watch our content are not yet subscribed. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and turn on that notification bell as well. Again, shout out to FanDuel for sponsoring this episode. Be sure to go check them out, guys. But that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. And as always, guys, go Colts.